Hi guys. Okay, so we haven't done heavy weight training in a while. We're gonna do heavy glutes. Normally in the gym, I'm actually using a set of 35s for all of the movements that we're gonna be doing with this 20s. And then I'll usually use a single 75 or 80 pound for squatting. But because these are what I have here, I'm gonna show you with the 20s and the 10. But yeah, you can definitely go a lot heavier when you're on your own because we are just working on training the posterior chain, back side of the body, not trying to make the legs bigger or anything like that. Front of the legs. Okay. So you guys know every movement we do is 30 seconds long. We still have to start with the warm-up. 20 full minutes here. Move that. All right. Let's get started with our same usual warm-up. Elbow to knee tucks to warm up the core in 3, 2, and 1. Twist and squeeze. Twist and squeeze like this. Warming up the abs, driving your chest to your knee, elbow to knee. Squeeze and twist. Squeeze 15 seconds and twist. Just like this. We're gonna get those hip hinges or those good mornings in 3, 2, 1. So this exact movement that we're doing to wake up the hamstrings is also the same movement pattern that you're gonna be using when we do those RDLs or those Romanian deadlifts. So the goal here is to actually keep a neutral spine, almost slightly arched. The last thing you wanna do is be rounded because we don't want this to go into the lower back. It's gonna go in the hamstrings, the area below the glutes that helps prop the glutes up. 3, 2, and 1. Let's get our squats, knees in line with toes in 3, 2, 1. Down and up. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just like this. Down and up, 15 seconds. Down and up, 10 seconds. Breathing. And last one, arm circles back, big arm circles here. Open up the chest. Breathe. Just like this. And we're gonna switch direction in 3, 2, and 1. Big circles. 10 seconds. So good. 2, and 1. Let's get this warm up one more time through. So elbow to knee tuck twist, like this. Twist, twist. Just like that. So good. 20 seconds. Tuck and twist. 15. Drive that chest down and crunch. Almost done with this warm up. Super low impact. We have those hip hinges in 3, 2, 1. So practice your form here. You're gonna go down as far as you can till you feel that pull under the glutes. Good mornings, that's what people call them. Down and up. Remember, you're not rounded. You're leading with that chest. Micro bend in the knees. 10 seconds. Down and up. And up, last one. Down and up. Let's get our squat. 3, 2, and 1. Last bit of the warm up. So good. That's it. 10 seconds. Make sure you're going full range here. Weight in the heels no matter what. Let's get those arm circles back. 3, 2, 1. Dig those elbows back. Open up that chest. Lots of breathing. This is just a warm up, so it can be kind of sloppy, kind of fluid. We're just trying to open everything up. Switch direction. 3, 2, 1. And twist. Like you're swimming. Big movement in the shoulders. We're gonna get started with the workout in 3, 2, and 1. So like we did with our warm-up, I'm gonna grab my 20s, and we have Romanian deadlifts because we were trying to get those glutes right, which means we wanna prop them up by building up the hamstrings, which are the muscles below the glutes. Coming down till you feel that tight pull up, squeeze the glutes at the top. Super important to complete the whole movement. Down. Last one. And up. So next what we're gonna do is a squat pulse. I am gonna rack these up. Normally if the weight is heavier, I'd hold it low, down, pulse, up. So the key with this, so that you feel it in your glutes and not your quads, is that you're gonna keep the weight in the heels. I'm basically pulling my toes off the ground. And last one, and up. Gonna keep the weights where they are. I'm gonna go side, lateral split squat actually. So both toes are forward. We're gonna go side to side. Keep those toes forward. That's how you're gonna feel this in your glutes. We're not turning your toe out. You're pretending like there's a chair behind you, and you're tapping your butt back, side to side. Last one. So good. Next, I'm gonna stay holding both these weights, and I'm gonna do a curtsy lunge with a pulse. So the key with this one is to, again, keep my weight in my front heel, so that right heel, so that I feel this in my right glutes. So it's all about weight distribution for a lot of these. Otherwise, you'll feel like you're gonna feel them in your quads, and that is not our goal. Switch sides, 3, 2, 1. Over, pulse, up. Up, nice and slow, making sure your knee is not coming past your toes. My left knee staying 90 degrees. Super important. And up. And up. And up. Okay, next, I'm gonna use my 20 for some glute bridges. So we're gonna do 2 variations. Gonna start by just putting the weight on my hips, coming down. We're just gonna do a normal one all the way up and down. So I want you guys to focus on how high you can get your hips. Hold for a moment, then come down. A lot of time people wanna rush through it. Hold and down. So this time, we're gonna do it again. Up, tippy toes, down, down. Push through the heels, raise to the tippy toe, land on the heels, back down. So good. Up, tippy toes, and down. 10 seconds. Last one. And awesome. So now I'm gonna grab my 10, because the 20 is a little bit heavy for this. And we're gonna do weighted fire hydrants to get those outside medial glutes here, up and down. Up 90 degrees. So a lot of time we wanna bring our knee forward with this. Make sure that it comes 90 degrees to the side, stays in line with the other knee. 10 seconds. And other side. So I definitely recommend doing these wearing leggings rather than bare leg, just so it doesn't hurt. Trying to still keep your hips facing the mat. Like there's a plate on your lower back, you can't move it. Shoulders directly above the wrists. 10 seconds. Down. And down. Last one. Down. So I like to do laying leg raises next to also still get my glute, but you have to be very careful how you do this. So I'm gonna use my 20. It's just kind of hard to get it on top, but once you do, you're good. Gonna lay it down my leg and just raising and lowering my leg a tiny bit. So when I say stack your hips, it really means stack them so that you're feeling this actually in your glute. That means your top hip is really stacked above the other one. We're gonna go inner leg now. So the 20 is definitely super heavy, guys. You can always use your 10. Pulse, same thing though, still keep the hips stacked. The second your hips turn towards the ceiling, it's gonna go more into your hip flexors. That's not what we're trying to train. We're trying to get the inner and outer leg muscles here. You're definitely gonna feel this one once you get that weight in place. Just aim to the ceiling with your pulse. Up, straight towards the ceiling, and down. Okay. This side is next. Leg is up and down. Stack those hips. You're gonna wanna start to open your hips so that you have like a bigger kick up. But if you're actually doing this right, it should be a tiny kick because you're training those long muscles down the side of your leg called abductors. And let's get the inner leg. Okay, still keep them stacked. Up and down. Just like this, 20 seconds. And down. 10 seconds. Keep breathing. And so good. All right, let's remove this. All right, so then last thing we're gonna do is come back up, grab both weights. We're gonna get a nice little sumo squat. Down, pulse. We're gonna stay pulsing in the sumo for 10 more seconds. Weight in the heels. And then we're gonna stretch in 3, in 2, in 1. Okay, drop those weights. So, very important, we're gonna get a pigeon stretch. So a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you're stretching in between rounds, that's crazy, but this is how I feel my glutes way more the next day. I feel like I really get a full workout when I stretch in between. I like to bring my knee into the center of my chest for my pigeon so that I get more into the glutes and less into the hips. You can move around in it. It's good to stay moving, but by stretching, you're gonna lengthen back out the muscle groups that we just shortened by training them. So you're flushing fluids and blood through the area, which helps make it more effective. Okay, we're gonna restart in 15 seconds. Starting with those Romanian deadlifts. This round's gonna go quick because it is heavy. And we're moving nice and slow and controlled. So feet are shoulder width apart, hip width apart. Weight in the heels. Down, up, squeeze. Down, up, squeeze. Squeeze. Up. Good, 10 seconds. Last one. So good. Rack those babies up, and we have our squat pulse. 3, 2, 1. So I go about 3/4 because that's where I really feel my glutes. I don't feel them as much when I go so low. That's more in the quads, and that's just not what we're going for. 15 seconds. Keep that weight in the heels. So when you get tired, you might want to start to shift forward if your quads are typically stronger, but we're trying to build out the back side of the body. Okay, so now I'm gonna go wider, toes forward, lateral split squat. So it's like a static side lunge, but sit all the way back, like someone's pulling your hips back. Peel those toes off the ground. Remember, toes stay forward. And up. And up. Okay, curtsy lunges, back and over. Watch that front knee. And come up, right? You don't want your knee forward like this, ever. You could almost immediately feel knee pain if you do that. Dig that left heel into the ground, that front heel. 10 seconds. Chest stays up. Abs stay nice and tight. Switch sides in 3, 2, 1. Make sure you're back, but also over. Over is what's gonna put this in the glutes. 20 seconds. 15, keep that chest up. Pulse. Last one. Pulse. All right, we have our glute bridge, minute of glute bridging. Weights on the hips, down, and down. So feet are hip width apart. To make it a little bit harder, you'd walk your feet closer to the glutes. Make sure you are holding for a second and you're not just going up and down super fast. Up, squeeze, down, up. Let's add those tippy toes. 3, 2, 1. Up, tippy toe, down. Tippy toe, and down. Really good. 20 seconds. Make sure you're really keeping those hips up nice and high, no matter what. 10 seconds. Up and down. Okay, we have our laying leg raises. So yeah, the hardest part really is just getting the weight up and on the leg. Nice and parallel to the thigh. Raise and lower. Remember, your glute is doing all the work, so turn those hips towards me because we don't care about our hip flexors right now. If I tilted towards the ceiling, it'd be all hip flexor, but what's the point there? Here we're trying to get your glutes. All right, inner leg. 3, 2, 1. Pulsing up and down. These ones you really feel after a while, even if it is a small movement. 10 seconds. Stay stacked, stay with those hips turned. You'll feel it more. And switching sides. Okay, weights back on the side of the leg. Raise and lower. Keeping those hips nice and stacked. 15 seconds. Hips stacked. 10. Inner leg, 3, 2, and 1. And pulse. Up and down. So yeah, it's kind of hard to make room for the weight, but just try your best. We're almost done. We have those fire hydrants next. Pulse it out. Hips stay stacked. Just because it is very hard to train inner leg, and that is why this looks so crazy, but we don't have a cable machine, we're just using dumbbells. Drop that weight. We fire hydrant to the left side in 3, 2, 1. So this is also a good exercise if you just need to activate your glutes before a heavy lift. That's why we're mixing it in. Up and down. Keep those hips nice and still. And switch. Let's get that right side. 3, 2, 1. So again, just checking to make sure that your wrists are directly below those elbows. Everything's in alignment. Belly and core is tucked in. We have one move left. In 10 seconds, we're coming up for our sumo squat. Then we're done. Let's get that sumo. Grab your 20s. Gonna go nice and wide. Super wide. Remember, knees in line with toes. Down and up. So get those inner legs one final time. Still send your butt back. Weight still in the heels. 10 seconds. Down and up. 3, 2, and 1, guys. So good. So that's definitely a modified version of doing your lower body, your glutes, because you do want to get this in for a little bit longer. So if you have the time, I would recommend doing that whole thing a 3rd time through, or pairing this with one of my lower body glute strength other videos, so you at least get like 45 minutes total. You could pair it with 2 more and get a full hour. Up to you, but you do want to get as much time in with heavy strength training as you can. Getting that glute stretch one final time. And we're going to go through a few more stretches. Let's get a straddle stretch. Drop to your forearms, get the inner legs. We've done this before where you reach to the side, other arm overhead. What that's going to do is get my lats on the left side, my hamstrings on the right. And if I fall forward slightly, it's going to be my lower left back. And when you're ready, other side. Big reach. The more you do a stretch like this, the more flexible that you can become. I know people think, oh, you're either born that way or not. No, if you can do this kind of stretch every day, as well as a few other ones that we're going to get to, you'll become more flexible for sure. And it's just very good for you. Bring the toes in, push down on them. Push down as best you can if you can reach, and really stretch out the tops of the legs, the top of the ankles. We'll get our IT bands, or that outside, those abductors that we trained. So you're going to push your knee away from you. 3, 4, 5. We'll get that other side. Push. Away. We already got inner leg, so remember we've been doing our hip flexor, what were we calling it? Hip flexor challenge? This is it. So just watching that the front knee is 90 degrees and my back leg is as far back as possible. So I'm opening up my left hip, so I'm gonna reach up. Each day you should find that you're gonna get a little more flexible and reach over. Let's stretch out the hamstrings on the right side by just straightening out this front leg. So if you've done these with me before, you should start to see a change, that you're becoming a little more flexible each day, even if this is the only part that you're doing with me. So big step forward. Remember, we don't want this knee past the toes. Pushing my right hip through, reaching up and over. Then we'll get the hamstrings on the left side. Whew. Let's come up and get our triangle because I really love that one. So I'm going to put my left foot straight towards you guys, right foot turned out, and come down. I like to always bend this knee, this right knee a little bit, and get deeper in my hip. You can drop down, twist to the other side, and twist the wrist. Definitely feeling more flexible today, but some days it's not easy. Down, move in this knee a bit, and twist. Twisting the wrist. And back. Up, my favorite one, ragdoll. Really let yourself fall. Like actually release your neck and your head. You're gonna start to feel a little bit of heaviness in like the upper spine. Grab the elbows. Swing side to side. Coming up nice and slow. Okay guys, amazing. I know I said I'd be back at 12:30 and today's, what time is it, 2? I don't even know, 1 something. But we'll figure out a time soon and I will post it. But thank you so much for joining. Any questions? Yeah, I know. Music, I can't play music because it's copyrighted and I get in trouble. So I'd have to play like not copyrighted music and then that's a whole other thing. Eventually we'll have music or you guys can play it at home.